Where to start? I guess I'll start at the beginning. So back in 95, I get a job in Austin here with Bat Conservation International. I don't know anybody in Austin. I grew up in Pennsylvania. And I say, well, pull out the old NSS members manual. Beeping through the members manual, the first name that I recognized that lived in Texas was Gill Ediger. Because I'd seen his name in trip reports or something else that he had written, because he was pretty prolific there. And I call him up. He says, "You don't know me. I just got this job, and I was wondering if maybe you could give me some advice on finding a place to stay. I'll be moving down here in October." And he said, "Well, come on down. You can stay at my place as long as you want. Normally I have some rooms to rent, but they're all full now. But you can still stay as long as you want and as long as you need." And that's how Gill was. He was, he was a problem solver. Gill didn't look at life and say, "Well, I can't do that." Gill looked at life and said, how can I do that? And he was a big support for a lot of people. As you can tell today, because he had a huge influence on a lot of people's lives. Gill was a second father figure to me. He reminded me a lot of my dad, because my dad was the same way with, tackling problems in life. And, I learned a lot from Gill. I live where I do now because of Gill. He said, "Hey, there's a house coming up for sale in the neighborhood. They haven't listed it yet. You said you were looking for a place," and looked at it and said, "Okay, I'm buying it." And it was just like that. And, part of the reason was because it was just 2 doors down from Gill's. We could walk over there, say hi, hang out, do things, invite him over for dinner, whatever. We'd work together on various projects, and it was community. Gill was a big community builder, and I tried to follow in that role, try to build a community as well, and I see a lot of people here that are from that community that have come back today, and they're here to honor this man. I don't really know what else I can say. Gill married Yaz and I. She was, when she first moved up here to work, she was staying at his house for a while. We was hanging out, doing things together. One day we said, "Let's get married." We said, "Okay, what about Saturday?" And, we didn't have much of a plan or anything, and everybody came together. The community came together. All of a sudden there was decorations, there was music, there was cake, there was a tent, there was all kinds of stuff, and it just happened. And that's how things worked around Gill. He put Texas Speleology Center together. And he says, I just like pick a place and it happens. And it did. People knew what to expect, and everybody pitched in and, jumped in and got work done. And it still happens that way. I don't run Texas Speleology Reunion. I just kind of pick a date and find a location and maybe, figure out what we're doing for food, and everything else happens.
You do a lot more than that.
Right now I'm trying to put an NSS convention together, and I sure wish Gill was around to help with that too. So, anyhow, I'm really glad to see old friends and new. Lots of folks here. It's Texas Speleology are special, and a lot of that's due to Gill's influence.
Yeah.
Thanks.